What is something you did once and never again? Tried to intervene during a street fight. Got shot for my troubles. Bless us with more story. Friend. Were you out getting a coffee? Walking your gator? Where were you shot? Glad you're here to write any of this stuff in the first place. Ran out of toilet paper when I was 11. Saw alcohol wipe cloths and thought that would work just fine. Nope. As soon as I did that first wipe, it was as if the sun teleported into my asshole and I was hopping around the bathroom trying not to squeal. Mom opened the door to check on the noise and saw me jumping around with an alcohol pad between my cheeks. Keep alcohol away from your anus. A marathon and the dessert. Edit. I just woke up in my time zone and boom, this exploded. Thank you for the awards and the upvotes. I'm gonna try and reply as much as possible. Do you try to find new ways to die every day? Went to Times Square for New Year's Eve in New York City. I live in NYC and I figured it was the kind of thing I wanted to see but didn't need to see again. Went in 2000 when I was 18. Got there 11 AM and stayed for 13 hours in the freezing cold but with close spots to the ball drop and screen. I'm glad I did it. I'm also glad I've never done it again. I used to live right next to where the ball would drop, so I would go out on the fire escape and watch it from there every year. Got some booing from the crowd but it was nice to see the event. Wouldn't go out of my way to see it again though. Bought a $20 lottery ticket. Lost $20. Never again. Used to travel a lot for work and my team decided they wanted to hit a casino on the way back home. So I figured I'd hit the penny slots. I only had a couple of dollars to burn. So I wanted to make it last. In 200 spins. I didn't win even a tiny amount a single time. At least with a lottery ticket you get the enjoyment of sitting back and imagining what you'd do with the money if you won. I might as well have just dropped a few rolls of pennies down a storm drain. Grabbed the hot grill as a 5-year-old. Learned my lesson. Edit. Wow. This blew up overnight. Thanks for the awards and sorry to everyone injuring themselves. As a naive yet curious kid, I didn't know what the razor in the bathroom was for and decided to test it out by rubbing it over my thumb with the shower running. Despite being just a cut, here was so much blood coming out it was like a murder scene. My mom made me a cute little thumb cast to wear for a few days and explained it to me afterwards though. I stole a tester eyeliner from the makeup section at a store when I was 17. The security guy took me aside in a small room and questioned me. Asked for my information. And to scare me, he said this would always be in my record and companies won't want to hire me anymore, and I burst into tears and had a panic attack. He said he'll let me off if I pay double the price of the eyeliner. So I did and he let me go. Now, I don't know how much of what he told me was real and if the resolve was legitimate. But if he tried to just scare me into not becoming a serial swiper, it worked. Pretty sure he just pocketed the cash after. When I was 14. I accidentally mistook bike chain lube for sex lube. At first, I wondered why it was blue. But that thought was almost immediately overpowered by an intense burning sensation. Removing paint from a table. I still need to finish sanding the thing, but that was a nightmare. Who paints a table with like 30 coats? Edit. Used Citri-Strip Safer paint remover. Then scrape the flat surfaces with a scraper. Then used steel wool on the other parts. Rinsing the chunks of paint off in between as it gunked up the steel wool real quick. Then repeated the process a few weeks later. Then used a belt sander on the flat surfaces. Now just need to hand sand the other surfaces. It's like you want to quit but you are too invested at that point. 29 different owners. Skydive. Nope, didn't help with my fear of heights. I just went to an open sea scuba diving course. We had a woman that was with us that was afraid of the ocean. And being submerged in water. She said this is what she wanted to do to get over her fear. She got in the gear. Got to the end of the boat. Jumped in. Then immediately and calmly said, "Get me back on the boat." Back on the boat. Cool as a cucumber, she took off her gear and was like, nope. Not doing it. Top 3 scariest moments of my life right there. She grabbed a water and a power bar and calmly waited for the course to finish and for the boat to take us all back. Respect to her. Spelunking cave exploring. For starters, it begins and ends with going through a million bats. And the journey in between is just too dangerous. In the last place in the world you'd want to get hurt. And super tight squeezes are freaky. The story of the guy who got stuck upside down in the Nutty Putty cave system will have me never ever getting into spelunking. His body is still stuck there because it was too unsafe and difficult to get him out. It's so disturbing and sad. One time, I was airing 12 or 13. I suddenly took interest on my sharpener. Since my pinky finger was small enough, I decided, why don't I sharpen my finger? Like, why the fuck not? So I plunged it in and twisted hard. Took nearly a week to heal. One of the most stupidest things I ever done. I did this as a kid too. It's like some sort of whack childhood intrusive thought that you actually act on. Cocaine. I remember feeling alive. Feeling like myself for the first time. Feeling like I was bursting at the seams with creative ideas. I was finally the person I wished I was. As creative as I wished I was. And as motivated as I wished I was. I felt like I had found the secret holy grail of success and happiness. Then I thought, oh, fuck. This is why people get addicted to it. So I vowed not to do it again and went back to being depressed and unmotivated. A friend of mine in college did some cocaine. And sat down and wrote a poem. He actually got it published. He never did cocaine again. He never wrote anything for publication ever again. He was fine with both of those things. Edit. People keep asking questions about the poem and so on. This was over 30 years ago. I have no idea. Salvia. I experimented with lots of drugs. And especially psychedelics when I was younger, but man, take the most intense part of an acid trip but without any let up to ease you in. So you go from stone cold sober to tripping balls in seconds. The trip only lasts for 5 minutes, but you spend the next couple of hours playing catch up with your brain trying to make sense of things. And you'd better make sure you're with people you trust, because I could have easily walked right off my balcony without thinking twice about it. Stayed at a bed and breakfast. I'm not social enough to socialize with people during breakfast. Same. Came downstairs at 9:15 because they said breakfast was served until 9:30. The owner said, "There you are," and showed me to a table with a little card that said Mrs. Winnercube, in fancy script, and then proceeded to scold me that all the other guests were already done eating. Never again. Assume the green stuff on the sushi tray was avocado. I'm sure several first-time sushi eaters thought the same. I know I did. Buy cheap toilet paper. That one-ply crap. Which was a cross between either using sandpaper on your crack or accidentally ripping through it and fingering yourself. We call that John Wayne toilet paper. Rough, tough, and don't take shit off of anybody. Spray deodorant on my ass to cover up the smell of my farting. I was 6. Once that spray hit my bullet hole, the burning began. The 6YO logic behind your decision is honestly the funniest part. Edit. This is by far the most likes I've gotten on any post, comment, or reply. Never imagined it'd be for someone spraying deodorant up their ass. But then again, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Anyway. Thanks guys. Cheat on a partner. Learned the hard way as a dumb teen that this is one of worst things you can do and only ever leads to everyone involved getting seriously hurt. Climbed the stairs up the CN Tower. It's a twice-a-year thing for charity. My friends and husband were all like, yeah, come join us, it's so fun. No. 249 flights of stairs is not fun. I've done it once. It's crossed off. Never again. I get tired climbing stairs in Warzone sometimes. I can't imagine this. Nope. Meth. Hey. Me too. I was awake for a day and started seeing shadow people. Not to mention I spent the day with legitimate meth heads and meth dealers. It was pretty scary. Still remember everything even though it's been almost 15 years. It makes me nauseous that I'll let myself do that. I was a raging alcoholic. So I didn't have many inhibitions. Opening a link in Reddit when someone else in the comments said not to. Yup. And on one of those what's the most disturbing photo on the internet threads that I hated myself for even venturing into. Saw 2 images that haunted me for weeks. And now I just avoid those sorts of threads. I'm not even going to describe them. Because I'm sure they're high up already on numerous AskReddit threads like them. Just don't click it. They're not worth it. You will gain nothing from seeing those things. Fried bacon naked. I've done this more than once. But I will agree it stings pretty bad the first time. So when I was really young I liked to play military or something, and one time I wanted to be a hostage and escape from it to fight the bad guys like an idiot. However, I couldn't get the tape to work myself, so I asked my brother for help. So I went onto a cabinet and had my brother do it. I was excited to escape and fight the bad guys. Then I woke up in my dad's car dizzy, confused and dazzled. What had happened was, because I was an idiot, and my brother was too, I was tied up on top of the cabinet, so when I wanted to get down I basically faceplanted so hard my mom said it looked like I got murdered. I amazingly only had a broken nose. So I never played hostage again. I was a stupid kid. Poor mother, OMG, haha. Not paying attention to currents when swimming in the sea, and going anywhere when there's a red flag and no guard. Dumbest shit ever. I was with my 2 brothers and my father, happily splashing around. Suddenly we turn around and the shore just got very far away. So we start swimming back, but the sea is stronger than you. If you stop 5 seconds to catch your breath, you lose the progress you did during the last minute. And that's precious. I was young, so I don't remember it as a legit life-threatening situation. But my bros and dad still got chills when talking about it. For anyone that doesn't know, always make sure you swim parallel to the shore, not towards it. https://sijinx. Gov.rip currents. Get drunk till I blacked out. Having people fill in the gaps in your memory is terrifying, especially not knowing how you got home. I don't drink anymore. Edit. Spelling is hard. I read about a guy in Poland who blacked out. His friends took him abroad to Copenhagen and left him there. I can't remember how it ended. Carolina Reaper infused gummy bear. I almost called for an ambulance. Legitimately thought I was going to die covered in sweat, shit and vomit. Take us through the timeline here. Was the mass exodus of bodily fluids instantaneous or delayed over time? This one time I was getting a drink that was only for $1. So I sped walk my way into the mini shops. Quickly grabbed one and ran out. I was running to my friend with the drink until I felt something in my pocket. Pulled it out and it was the $1. Sudden realization. I quickly ran back to the mini shop to see the shop owners scanning the outside of their shop. I gave them my $1 and said sorry. They looked at the $1, looked at each other, spoke in a different language, and went back inside. I'm pretty sure they called me an idiot. As I went back with shame. My dad told me this story. In the 70s he and my mum stopped at a Little Chef motorway services restaurant for lunch. After they finished, they got the bill, then left. They drove for half an hour before realizing they didn't actually pay the bill. Being honest people, they turned round and went back and paid. The staff said we owe you'd be back. Got drunk once with friends under the Ambassador Bridge drinking 120 proof rum from duty-free shop. Puked my guts out. Can't stand the smell of rum since, and it's been 53 years. Vanilla vodka in a field for me. I feel like a lot of people have a similar story about drinking excessively with friends in a creative location that resulted in alcohol poisoning and the inability to consume that type of booze anymore. Edit. It is truly heartwarming to read all these responses and see that this is such a universal experience. Be sure to thank your liver today for all its hard work. Ate a whole habanero in 2 bites. Edit. Rip my inbox with everyone's similar stories. I did this once as well. I mean, it was hot and all, but not horrifically so. The problem was it was exactly still as hot as when I first ate it, 30 minutes later. Those little fuckers have staying power. Op is really attentive to the answers and we should appreciate that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Hiking through jungles. They look so beautiful in movies. In reality they are some of the most brutal hikes I've been on. Let's start with the humidity. It's so bad it drenches you to the bone. And there's no escaping it. Being under a jungle canopy is like being in a pressure cooker. The heat and humidity beats you down harder than any environment I've been in. Then there's the swarms of biting bugs. From never-ending mosquitoes. Giant spiders on everything. Ticks jumping on you from everywhere and colonies of aggressive fire ants crisscrossing the trails. You can expect to have more bug bites than you've thought possible to survive. Yep. Fuck everything about that. I'll take my temperate forests. Thanks. Put pizza wrapped in foil in the microwave when I was 10 thinking it will warm up quicker. It surely did by lighting on fire 3 seconds after I turned it on. When I was a kid, My neighbor invited me to hang out with this new friend from school. He brought us about a mile across farm fields to a house he enjoyed stalking behind and watching for hours. Never saw him again. But always wondered if it caught up with him. Edit for clarity. My old neighbor met a new friend at their school. I went to a different one. The new friend proceeded to walk us across town to the house he'd been stalking. Yikes. Creepy indeed. I did die for 2 minutes after a heart attack and don't plan on doing that again for a while anyway. Does that count? I have to ask. Did you see or feel anything during that time? Bath salts. Tried some from a guy who went by Asian Billy. I did about enough to cover the head of a framing nail and was pretty much having a panic attack for the next 8 hours. I went to a casino with the other people I was working with and Asian Billy and sat at a blackjack table and just said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Sorry everyone if I mess up your bets. Everyone was cool and I ended up winning $175. Now I got to ask the most important question. Was Asian Billy Asian? Hitchhiked. A17. To Mexico. Edit. Nothing bad happened at all. Everyone was really nice. It was me and my friend, both girls, and we had a great time but I think we got lucky. Yeah but. What happened? Coke out of a fat guy's belly button. Wait. That was you? Third wheeling. Never again. Makes me realize how lonely I truly am. Pee in a garbage bin in front of a teacher thinking that it was a toilet. Sleep is important. The kid aged me pee stories I could tell you. Use Nia to remove all the hair from my junk with little effort. Don't. Ever. Do. This. What happens? Tried to exist with undermedicated bipolar disorder. That must have been tough. I could imagine the emotional stress you had over people not understanding you and you not even understanding what was going on sometimes. Glad you received the help you needed. Cocaine. Feeling strong is a slight misnomer. You feel like your presence in the world at large has increased exponentially so that strong comes off as an observation. Not how you actually feel. Invincible is the closest word. Fun once and I left it at once. I did it twice. I was hardcore alky and I'd had about a dozen beers when I tried it. I was totally smashed. Ripped some cocaine and I was like instantly sober. I drank more when I got home from the bar. I'm glad I didn't get addicted to that too. I'd be dead for sure. Now I'm 6 years sober. I called my mom by her first name once. How are you alive? Peed on a fence. Did you know some cattle fences are electrified? That must have been fun. When I just found out about masturbation I used dish soap as lubricant. At first it was fine. But I didn't wash it after. The next day I woke up with skin peeling off the top of my dick. I could barely take a shower, it stung so bad. Never again. Sweet. Sweet op. Thank you for asking and creating this discourse among strangers. But you know the correct answer, of course, your mom. I'm finding out my mom was a whore. Jerk off in the living room. My mom walked in. I walked in on my parents once. I'm sure I saw your exact expression on their faces. Except they probably kept on when I closed the door. I need a drink. Enlisted in the military in a combat arms job. Please tell me you at least got a 8-sil. Camaro and not a V6. Cigarette. I'm mildly asthmatic. Have a relationship with an alcoholic. He was sober for 2 years when we met and then stayed sober for another 2. The next 3 years were total hell. In and out of rehabs. So much heartache. Disappointment and resentment on both sides. I was the only one working. I was the one doing everything at home. So many nights and weekends spent driving to and being at rehabs to visit, so no time off. I really loved him. I really believed I just had to support him by doing absolutely everything I could. Always visiting. Bringing everything he asked for. Not whining for him to work or even do housework when he was sober. Basically ensuring there was no stress at all in his life. I really believed he would get sober again. I really believed that it would be okay. Until one day I knew it would not. Lost my virginity. Never again. I looked into the sky during a lightning storm. Had a white flash burned into my vision for some days. I was ecstatic when my full vision returned. What? I'm pretty sure I've looked at a stormy sky many times. Did the lightning hit really close to you? Get struck by lightning. Oh wait, that was 2 times Hun. Fisting. Should I ask? I jumped off a roof barefoot when I was a kid. I'll never do that again. It was an older house and the roof was low to the ground. So it seemed okay. But my judgment led me astray. I landed on a stone entryway and immediately collapsed to the ground. I had to crawl my way back inside and it was extremely painful. The reason I did this is because the bathroom door jammed shut and I had no way out. Old house. Didn't break anything but my feet were bruised. I'm surprised I didn't break anything from the hard impact. Drew a perfect circle with just a pencil. Mixed milk and orange juice because I thought it would taste like a creamsicle, not make me projectile vomit. Trusted a fart. Edit, Owen Datura. https://www. Reddit. Maybe comments p6307q maybe. UTM medium equals Android app and UTM source equals share. Watched my lover screw another man. She was amazing to watch, but boy, I can't erase the image out of my mind. She enjoyed it. Ouch. I fear this type of relationship. I couldn't deal with that image myself. You know that thing you did as a kid when you'd prop yourself up between 2 objects, like a counter and table, and swing back and forth with your legs? That. Lower jaw in 3 pieces. Tongue dangling out through an open wound beneath my chin. No idea how many stitches. Teeth damages, which has already led to one of my front teeth dying due to damaged nerves. And to top it all off, this occurred just before we had to perform a bit of theater for the rest of class. And it has negatively impacted my ability to perform before any audience. But the scars add some nice character. Taste my own cum. I was expecting this. But I also wasn't. Reddit never lets me down. Big ass edible. Never gone forget. Cheat on a partner. I've been on both ends of this. It's never a good thing. For either person. It's a heavy burden to carry. You think you'll forget about it. But every time you see her smile genuinely, it creeps up and makes you feel this immense amount of guilt. I hate it. Did heroin for the first time and wasn't into the sensation at all. The same roommate that talked me into heroin talked me into smoking some crack to even out. Luckily I wasn't a fan of either and never did either ever again. Not the best roommate either. Hope you've got a different one now. When I was 10ish years old I knew about sexual things. And when you find smutty magazines and porno mags you grow up believing that you're gonna have sex all the time with every random person. After shaving what small pubes I had, I rubbed toothpaste all over thinking yeah the girls will like this. Did I think it'd taste better? Smell better? I have no idea. All I know is it stung. I had a cool mint dick for hours. Going to a strip club. Paying a humongous amount of money to spend a night in a club full of 99% sleazy, horny guys. Just to go home with blue balls. Don't really see the point. I get enough sexual frustration at home. I don't need to pay for it on the road. Had a wank with a dildo up my ass. You gotta try these things. But it wasn't for me. Like, I actually gotta try these things? The drug salvia. Turns out, hallucinations just aren't right for me. Watching the universe get peeled apart is something I'm not interested in seeing again. Your answer somehow made it appealing to me. Work a retail job. Acid. I dropped for the first time in a safe place with an experienced friend. And a trip sitter. My friend showed me the music video for Rattlesnake by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and I got stuck in a time loop. Then I was convinced my friend was going to come murder me. Even though he's the chillest, most passive dude I've ever met. Not the best experience. I've always heard that people who take acid have to be mentally strong. I remember going through a breakup and wanted to forget about it and was going to try LSD for the first time. But he told me he didn't want me killing myself later that night and asked me not to try it. Haven't touched it to this day. Ask my crush out. Sorry it went that way for you. Magic mushrooms. I was 14 hanging with 17-year-olds. I smoked weed at the time, so when one said here try these I grabbed a handful and ate them thinking it couldn't be much worse than being super stoned. I think the disgusting taste started the bad trip and I remember a feeling of overpowering discomfort. Apparently I freaked the fuck out, started bouncing off the walls screaming I need to get out of this room. Took a group of 5 young men to catch and pin me down, and one had the bright idea to knock me out by punching me in the head. Came round on a disgusting floor with a banging headache, and everyone looked sort of melted in place. Grabbed my stuff and quietly left. Didn't see them for like 2 weeks after, but they said it was wild and we should do it again. I politely declined. 14 is too young for such drugs, man. Hope you're okay. A drug that to this day I don't know what it was. Made my knuckles and face go numb and I went into a fit of rage. Snorted it and it was sort of a translucent white and my homie had it in a gum wrapper. I wouldn't have done it, but I was already high on other pills, so I didn't think twice to really find out what it was. TLDR, mystery drug. Bath salts maybe? Peed on someone. LOL. I can confidently say that water sports are, indeed, not for me. 2 things. Very similar, the strip club and the casino. Both places made me feel like a complete moron. Pissing my money away. Wiping chocolate-covered fingers all over the freshly painted hallway walls. Got a real ass whooping for that one. Like my grandpa would have said. Poor Pindy Joe. Went water skiing. My grandparents were driving a boat up at the cabin and giving neighbors and family turns pulling them on water skis. I decided to take a turn and, for some reason, it ended up as just 30 seconds of everything but my arms and feet being underwater before I realized I should let go. Fucking sucked, LOL. Salvia. My reaction to it was melting into my seat. Didn't enjoy it. But didn't hate it either. Gained 40 pounds. Hungover and zipped my zipper before I was ready. Bungee jumping. Went 125 in a 35 racing someone like a complete dumbass. Jack off on a kayak in the ocean. Fleshlight out of latex cork. I can't. Beat my meat when someone's home. I'm pretty sure I traumatized my grandma. Jumped out of a perfectly functional airplane 45 years ago. DB Cooper? Is that you? Banged my boss. I rode a bull. First hop of the bull's front legs out the chute and I was off, flipping and seeing sky dirt and then belly flopped. That hop felt like a train wreck. Bull riders are insane. Stuck my finger in an empty light socket when it was turned on when I was about 7. The shock was something I'll never forget. Very deep, I apologize. Tried committing suicide multiple times at the age of 15-17. The last time I tried it was almost successful, and seeing my sister over me crying, man, has always been a memory that has stuck with me. The pure despair and pain she was in seeing me in that state. I live on for her and all my family and friends. Wish everybody nothing but love who reads this. Red heart. Cinnamon challenge back when it was a thing. That was pretty stupid. Working for free. Fuck all the professors and institutes that normalize enslaving their students in the name of science research education. Went tubing down a alligator and snake-infested South Carolina river with my southern friends on a 4th of July years ago. The adventure was only supposed to last 3 hours tops. It lasted 7 hours because the river current was slow that day. I got the sunburn of my life that lasted until November. We also lost a raft. And encountered 2 copperhead snakes and seen multiple alligators along the edges of the river. My Yankee ass will never do that again. The southern folks can keep it. Fireball. Stupidly done few shots of it and was blacked out. Never again.